You had a very interesting vantage point on the British policy over this period, 2001 to 2008. When it starts, there are certain expectations and hopes maybe about where it is going to lead at the end. Many of those hopes haven't been realized. I was just wondering how the shift in objectives affected the work of GCHQ, but also just from your vantage point as director of GCHQ, how you viewed the process, about how well it was working, how well the government machine operated over this period.
To take the first question, it affected GCHQ in the sense that GCHQ always does its best to respond to changes of intelligence requirements, and if policy and strategy changes, then intelligence requirement probably changes. So our concern has always been to make sure that we are plugged well enough into thinking to make sure we understand the changes and therefore respond to them and preferably prepare for them. So we take changes of policy and strategy just as part of the fabric of life, and that's what intelligence agencies, I think, are supposed to do.
I mean, just on that, in this case around 2004 you might, for example, have been saying, this is going to get a lot more difficult and take a lot longer and we should prepare for that, even though the government may not have made up its own mind on that. Is that what you did?
No, I don't think we did. I think we were probably fairly uneasily, but I certainly don't recall saying, never mind what the government says. We have to go in for the longer run here. You know, maybe with hindsight we should have done. I don't think we were going our own way in that sense. I can't now recover the sequence of activities. I can imagine us saying, no, I am not going down that path. I am sorry. No point in trying to speculate. I am sorry. I have forgotten the second half of your question.
Well, it is basically how you viewed the process of policy making in general from your vantage point over the period.
I mean, the problem, you can ask, what was UK strategy? The problem was we were only ever a small part of the picture. Well, I mean, two problems. One is we could have had something we called a UK strategy, but actually it is really only a component of a much bigger strategy, which is going to be US-led and US-dominated. So your freedom of action is fairly restricted. The other is, it seems to me we were always in catch-up mode, because we were always dealing with the consequences of the original failure or refusal to plan for Phase 4. I am not equipped to give you a detailed answer, but I am sure that, had the coalition been prepared for Phase 4 in a way the system refused to do, what happened would have happened differently. We were always then in catch-up mode. I think that meant those two sets of circumstances make it very difficult to have something that really amounts to UK policy and UK strategy. All you can do is do the best to do your part of the action as well as you can. It seems to me that's what we were always doing.
So in a sense it was this problem of a false start.
Yes.
Getting us into difficulties that we were always trying to
get out of.
Get out of.
Yes, absolutely.